Everyone. My name is Yessi, and I am currently a part of Ciocca Center. We are the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center on campus. We are a campus-wide center, so we serve students in College of Arts and Science, Engineering, Levy School of Business, law school, you name it, just all across the board. We're here for all students, all BRONCO alumni also. So a little bit more about our programming and who we are is it was first started because of the Ciocca. So Art and Carlise Ciocca. Carlise attended Santa Clara University, and they founded the wine group, which is a huge wine group of different owners of different vineyards and different wine labels. And so they gave us a huge donation, and that's how Ciocca Center started. And they really had this vision of carrying out the entrepreneurial mindset. The entrepreneurial mindset being, so we kind of have these 4 pillars that describes what the entrepreneurial mindset is. And we believe it's skill sets that any person can really benefit from. And so the first is empathy. Empathy is an aspect where we're able to really go into any situation and think about, okay, how do people experience what they're going through, whether it's a student, whether it's a professor, whether it's a business, whether it's a worker, like whatever it might be, being able to walk inside of somebody's shoes and trying to create problem solve from that place. And so that's the first facet. The second one is awareness of how we make a difference. And so it's making sure that we're creating for long-term value, understanding that what we do today actually has an impact for future and future generations even. So that's the second facet. The third is optimism, to see problems as opportunities. And so making sure that we're taking every seeming problem into an opportunity that we can step into and turn around. And the last is confidence to tolerate risk. And so that one is about, hey, making sure to go into things. And even though it's a little bit scary at first, at least trying to do that first step and understanding and broadening and kind of continually pushing those boundaries that we have. And so for us, we really believe that an entrepreneurial mindset is not only for people who want to build businesses, but for every single person. And so this is what we carry our Ciocca mission for, and that's what we're here on campus to do. And so our various programs, they really kind of stem from the roots of the 4 facets of the entrepreneurial mindset. We have our student advisory board. So our student advisory board, what their function is they're pretty much the feedback voice for Ciocca Center. So for us, we ask our student advisory board, they're the kind of the hands and the ears and the feet that are on campus amongst students, understanding and knowing what that experience is for them, to go through Ciocca programs, or even be a student that has no idea what Ciocca Center is all about. And for us to have them on campus to really advocate for Ciocca Center, but also be that feedback loop for us. And they really help shape programming for us, what our students wanting, and we hear from them, and that's how we develop all the things that we do at Ciocca Center. So our student advisory board, it's representative of all SU schools. As I mentioned, we serve College of Arts and Science, and School of Engineering, law school students, Levy School of Business, everyone, and both graduate, undergraduate, and they advise Ciocca Center on our programming. And so a couple of things that could be really great for your students to know coming in is that this October we have something called Ciocca Center Presents. It's a once-a-year kind of extravaganza. We usually do it at the beginning of the year in the fall. It's kind of this welcome event. It really opens up the new year with the up and coming innovations and the entrepreneurial things that are happening in industry. And we like to bring them into our campus so students can get a little snippet and a window into just the cool stuff that's out there once they graduate, once they're in summer internships, things like that. And so for this year, we're bringing in Ember Lab. And so Ember Lab is a company. It's an animation and video gaming studio. So what's very interesting about Ember Lab is that they started out as an animation studio. And that's another reason why they actually won. They won the most downloaded games of 2021. And also they're really acclaimed for having just such lush visuals, like beautiful places where you're in the game and you're in the gameplay, and it really looks like you're walking through a Pixar movie. And that's because their roots were in animation. And so they were originally an animation studio, and they decided to pivot to become a video game studio. And so this workshop that they'll be doing, as well as pretty much a day of being able to share how they built this company from the ground up, how they went through this pivot. It's co-founded by two brothers, Mike and Josh Greer. So what's actually really cool is that their father is the dean of our School of Business. And if you know a little bit about the dean of the Levy School of Business, he was involved in Disney for 30 plus years. So he was this the president of the CEO of Disneyland in LA Anaheim, and he also went to Japan to set that Disneyland up. He was also on the executive board for the Florida Disneyland too. So you see a lot of this influence within Mike and Josh Greer's life and their business in opening up Ember Lab. And so what this whole day will be about, it's going to be a focus on innovation and gaming. But what's really cool about Kenna is that a lot of the times we think of gaming as something that's very violent, it's about tearing things down and breaking things apart. But actually, Kenna Bridge of Spirits is this walk and a journey of this woman called Kenna, and she goes through this journey, and she pretty much, her whole focus is on healing a world. So she's walking through, and there's these areas that are really like broken and deteriorating, but her focus is to make sure that this whole place is starting to be rejuvenated and revived. And it's not about like kind of the conventional things that we think about gaming of like violence, but it's about how do we actually put a value add into the spaces that we're a part of. And also because the animation is so beautiful and so lush, just being able to see that whole world come back to life is extremely rewarding. And so it's going to be an immersive experience where students get to be in our theater, our Mayer Theater, and they're going to be able to see the gameplay on like huge screens. It's going to feel like they're walking around in the Kenna world of forests, of lush waters and animals and little creatures. And so that's our Ciocca Center Presents. If you can share that with your students, and we would love to have them. It's a completely free event that they could enjoy and kick off their year with. So that's Ember Lab. And another thing is, if any of your students are interested in starting a company, we have absolutely a community for that. So that community is our BRONCO Ventures community. So we currently just accepted our new cohort for our BRONCO Venture Accelerator. So an accelerator is pretty much this incubator for startups. So over the span of 4 months, it's a pretty intensive program. It's BRONCO Ventures Accelerator is exclusively for businesses who want to get invested in, who are looking for to be venture backed. And so it's kind of like those founders that are all in. It's probably their primary job. They might have a side hustle, but this is what they're wanting. They're wanting to grow this business. And so BRONCO Ventures Accelerator, it culminates over 4 months of training and working on the business plan and working on the business pitch. A pitch is pretty much like a 3 to 5 minute presentation that these founders do, and we bring that and have that happen on demo day, which is happening this October on and over 150 VCs and angel investors come and they watch these pitches, and from there that's where negotiations start to happen. And so currently we've had 4 cohorts of BRONCO Venture accelerators go through so far. We've been able to our BRONCO Venture Accelerator companies have raised over 40 million. And so up till this point, and we're heading into our 5th year, and it's only been 5-ish years. And we were so excited because last year we got on Crunchbase, Santa Clara University got on Crunchbase, like universities of like top entrepreneur producing universities. So that is something we're super excited about. Another way that students can interact with Ciocca Center is that we have these lunch and learns. So we bring entrepreneurs on campus, and it's like a Q&A session. They give a brief, like, not per se a talk, it's more about like it's more of a fireside chat type of thing where there is a moderator asking questions about like, hey, how did you get to this point and what is it like? And last year, one of the company's entrepreneurs that came was Jeff Otta, and he is in innovation strategy at Rivian. And so it's an hour where students get to come, there's food provided for them, they get to eat and they get to learn. So that's why it's called the lunch and learn. So you have that. Also, other variety of engagements. If your students like to, we have something called Hack for Humanity. It was started about 10 years ago. And it started out with like a small group of maybe like 20, 25 students. And the whole purpose is that it's like an overnight, 2 days and also nights where students come and they have a mission of creating some type of like application where it solves a problem, a social issue problem. And so that's why it's called Hack for Humanity. And what's really it's like so fun about this is over the years, this Hack for Humanity has grown so big. It's like over 200 students now. And it's almost this like kind of like students come and they get this assignment and they're hacking and they're programming all day and all night. And so they get 24 to 48 hours depending on the requirements for that year, but they program all night and they come up with a solution. This year, what was really cool was that we had an all-women's team win the grand prize for Hack for Humanity. And so that's also something that Ciocca Center sponsors. And the cool thing about Hack for Humanity is that a lot of these teams that are a part of Hack for Humanity, they're not all like engineering students. A lot of them are, people in marketing, because they're like, hey, in order for this to go to market, what would that look like? What does our application have to look like for that to happen? There's College of Arts and Sciences students that are a part of those teams. Say like, visually, I think it would really be awesome if it looked like this or that, or like it might be somebody from the College of Arts and Sciences and saying, hey, there's this problem, there's this social issue, how about we develop a solution for that? And so these teams, seemingly it might seem something, it's like, oh, this is only for engineer students, but it's actually not like that. These students, they team up with their friends that they met in dorm or in other classes, and they create these teams where there might be programmers amongst those team members, but it's a very diverse group of students where they all put their input in, they all work together, they stay overnight, they do this really fun, just race to the finish line. And so that is our Hack for Humanity. That can be a really great place for students to meet other people. Idea Lab. So Idea Lab, the whole point of Idea Lab is that it's mini workshops. We have them throughout the year. And so it pretty much teaches us how to think. It teaches us, hey, whenever a lot of the times people push for solutions and say, oh, I have a solution, let me go for that solution right away. But Idea Lab, it teaches students the fundamental basics of design thinking. And the core components of design thinking is actually falling in love with the problem, with the issue. And what that looks like is, the reason why is because there might be surface level issues. An example might be like, oh, an example for something like that might be like, oh, it's really hard for like College of Arts and Sciences students to interact with School of Engineering students, right? That might be an issue, right? And then someone might say like, oh, but the thing is, the more deeper someone might go into that issue and really fall in love with that problem, and it's like, oh, but then why is that the case? Like, how are our courses developed? And is there not a lot of opportunities for people to meet each other? And why is that the case? So the whole point of Idea Lab is not per se racing to the solution, but really sitting and thinking about the problem and the issue and trying to empathize, go through each level of design thinking, so students can come up with something we call a sticky solution. So ultimately, we really do want these students to be able to come to developing a solution, but the whole point about it is, if we run to the first solution that comes to mind, a lot of the times that's not a sticky solution, because it may only resolve like a first level, surface level issue. But the more and more we fall in love with the problem and the deeper we sit with that issue, we start to go into the deeper issues, the root causes. And when we find a solution that actually resolves that root issue, then it becomes something we call a sticky solution. So that's a little bit about Idea Lab. There's a lot of workshops that are kind of smattered throughout the year. And so as long as students are like reading their emails, they'll be able to find out about Idea Lab and when it's happening. And we have something called Innovation Fellows. So Innovation Fellows, the applications are open to once students are sophomores or juniors. It's a 4-quarter program. And the whole point about it is finding a pain point on campus. So as I shared with you, with Idea Lab, it's about falling in love with an issue and a problem. And with Innovation Fellows, it's made of cohorts of students. So it's usually a cohort of 16 students, and they come and they develop groups of 3 or 4 students. And then they get matched with a issue that's on Santa Clara University campus, right? Current Innovation Fellows are working on food insecurity on campus, access to mental health resources, student clubs, and how they get connected with other people through all the events that are happening on campus, and attendance for sporting events. How do we raise that attendance? And also making the STEM space and the Maker Lab more accessible for other people from other schools. So so those are the pain points that current Innovation Fellows are working on. They have their little cohorts, and so they go through the principles of design thinking, and they have an actual issue that they've identified, and it's all about trying to, at the end of this, create some tangible solutions that can be implemented on campus that will affect and improve SCU as a whole, well beyond once they're graduated. So that's a little bit about Innovation Fellows that students can be a part of in their future years. Another thing is that we have, so for students that would like to have a little bit of exposure with real hands-on learning opportunities. So Beach is one of my favorite programs. What we do is we develop interdisciplinary teams. Currently, we have business and law students on a team, and there's a business and law mentor. So these units, what they do is they provide advice to real businesses. So we match them. A lot of those businesses might be startups that are starting up in our BRONCO Ventures community, because business and legal advice is so expensive, we like to provide this service for people. And so with the mentorship of real lawyers, as well as business professionals who have started their own businesses or have been just in the business field for a really, really long time. So those mentors and then students, business students, as well as law students, they pair up, they match up and create these advisory teams. And so that's very, very cool because we have students coming back and telling us like, I cannot believe that I was able to help someone, someone that's outside of these four walls that is in a lot of need for what they want to do in their current business, and how we were able to provide them like next steps for what they can research on and how they can steer their business. So that is what Beach is about. So just to close this all off, so we are here for you, and we would love to hear your feedback through our student advisory board, programming and advising. We really are here to just want to serve our students and our Broncos the best that we can. And so if you have any ideas, please swing by, email us, let us know how we can serve you best. And so we're here to listen with big ears. And thank you. And please, I would love to open up the floor for some questions, any comments. That's pretty much the end of my presentation. Yes, Chris.
Chris, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you guys have a dedicated social media page? It might be best to follow and keep up with you guys.
Yes, we do. We have, if you go on our SU website, I can go ahead and drop it into the chat right now. We have several forms of social media, mostly Instagram and Facebook. You can, here, I will actually, I can share with you guys. So